Los Angeles, March 9, 1997. A crowded intersection. Flashing traffic lights. Music still playing inside a black SUV. And in less than 10 seconds, hip-hop changes forever. Because inside that vehicle sat one of the biggest artists in the world. Christopher Wallace, better known as the Notorious B.I.G. Biggie Smalls. A rapper whose voice helped redefine hip-hop. A man who had already survived violence, fame, industry pressure, and one of the most dangerous rivalries in music history. But that night, none of it would save him. Gunfire erupts. A vehicle speeds away. And before sunrise, Biggie Smalls is dead. More than 2 decades later, people still ask the same question. Who really killed Biggie Smalls? Because, officially, the murder remains unsolved. And somewhere between music, money, gang affiliations, police corruption allegations, and silence, the truth may still be hiding. Case: Christopher Wallace homicide victim. Christopher Notorious B.I.G. Wallace location: Los Angeles, California. Date: March 9, 1997. Status: officially unsolved. Before the fame, before the platinum records, before the East Coast versus West Coast war, Christopher Wallace was a kid from Brooklyn, raised in Bedford-Stuyvesant, an area shaped by struggle, crime, pressure, and survival. But Biggie had something different: presence, storytelling, a voice people remembered instantly. By the mid-1990s, he becomes one of the most successful rappers in America. Albums explode, money pours in, fame grows rapidly, and with that fame comes conflict. Because hip-hop during the 1990s wasn't just music anymore. It had become identity, territory, power, and eventually, division. On one side, the East Coast, Bad Boy Records, Sean Puff Daddy Combs, Biggie Smalls. On the other, the West Coast, Death Row Records, Suge Knight, and Tupac Shakur. What begins as tension slowly becomes something darker. Public insults, diss tracks, media pressure, rumors, threats. And after Tupac is murdered in Las Vegas in 1996, everything changes. Because suddenly, people begin asking whether retaliation is coming. And Biggie knows it. Friends later claim he seemed uneasy, more cautious, aware that danger may be growing around him. But despite concerns, Biggie travels to Los Angeles in March 1997, a decision that would become historic and tragic. Los Angeles, a city carrying tension beneath its lights. Biggie is there promoting his upcoming album, Life After Death. The title itself would later feel haunting. Interviews, appearances, parties, media events. Everything appears successful on the surface. But behind the scenes, there are concerns. Some people reportedly warn him, LA may not be safe. Not after Tupac. Not after the rivalry. Not after everything happening in the industry. Still, Biggie remains in the city. March 8, 1997, the night before his death. He attends a major industry party hosted by Vibe magazine and Quest Records. Location: the Peterson Automotive Museum. Celebrities fill the building. Music executives, artists, security, media. The atmosphere appears celebratory. But outside, the streets feel different. Because many people inside that party know the East Coast versus West Coast conflict is still alive, even if nobody openly says it. Inside the party, Biggie appears relaxed, laughing, talking, enjoying himself. Puff Daddy is nearby. Friends surround him. At one point, Biggie reportedly jokes around with people at the event. Nothing appears unusual. But outside, something may already be unfolding. According to later investigations, multiple people associated with gang affiliations may have been nearby that night. And investigators would later believe someone could have been watching, waiting. Around midnight, the party begins shutting down early due to overcrowding and fire safety concerns. Guests start leaving. Traffic builds outside. Biggie gets into a dark SUV. Puff Daddy rides in another vehicle nearby. Security vehicles follow behind. The convoy begins moving through Los Angeles streets. At first, everything appears normal. Music playing. Cars moving slowly through intersections. Crowds outside clubs. City lights reflecting off wet pavement. Then, they stop at a red light. Intersection. Wilshire Boulevard and South Fairfax Avenue. Time: approximately 12:45 a.m. And within seconds, history changes. Witnesses later describe a dark vehicle pulling alongside Biggie's SUV. Some say, a Chevrolet Impala. Others remember different details. But nearly everyone remembers one thing. The shooter. A man wearing a suit and bow tie. Calm. Focused. Controlled. The window lowers. Gunfire erupts. Multiple shots fired directly into the SUV. Chaos explodes instantly. People scream. Cars scatter. Security reacts too late. The shooter speeds away into Los Angeles traffic. Gone within moments. Inside the SUV, Biggie is critically wounded. Several bullets strike him. His friends panic. Drivers race toward Cedars-Sinai Medical Center. Police respond rapidly. But the damage is catastrophic. At 1:15 a.m., Christopher Wallace is pronounced dead. Age. And within hours, the entire music world collapses into shock. News spreads rapidly across television and radio. Fans gather outside hospitals, outside bad boy offices, outside memorials. People cry openly. Because this doesn't feel like just another celebrity death. It feels bigger, darker, more personal. And almost immediately, theories begin. Was this retaliation for Tupac? Was it gang-related? Was it planned? Was someone inside the industry involved? Investigators begin reconstructing the scene. But problems appear immediately. Witness statements conflict. Descriptions vary. Memories become inconsistent. And one major issue emerges: fear. Because many people connected to the environment surrounding the case don't want to speak. Some fear retaliation. Others distrust police. And in cases involving gangs and organized street affiliations, silence can become permanent. Los Angeles Police Department launches a homicide investigation. Attention quickly shifts toward possible gang involvement. Specifically, the Bloods and Southside Crips. Some investigators believe the murder may have been retaliation connected to Tupac's death months earlier. Others believe the situation is more complicated. Over time, one theory becomes dominant. The theory involving Wardell Poochie Faust, an alleged gang affiliate connected to Death Row Records security circles. Former LAPD Detective Russell Poole becomes one of the most vocal investigators pushing this theory. According to Poole, there may have been corruption inside LAPD itself, specifically involving officers allegedly connected to gang-affiliated security operations. The allegations become explosive, because now, the case isn't just about murder. It's about possible police corruption, industry influence, and obstruction. But proving any of it becomes incredibly difficult. No murder weapon recovered. No definitive eyewitness identification. No arrest. No conviction. And slowly, The investigation begins stalling. As years pass, theories multiply. Some believe Biggie's murder was direct retaliation for Tupac. Others believe the murders of Tupac and Biggie were connected by larger forces inside the music industry. Some accuse gang members. Others suspect corrupt officers. Some even claim multiple people coordinated the attack together. Books are written. Documentaries released. Former associates speak publicly. But almost every version contains contradictions. And the deeper people investigate, the more complicated the story becomes. Because nearly everyone involved carried connections. Street connections. Industry connections. Personal loyalties. Old rivalries. Money. Power. Fear. And somewhere inside that network, the truth becomes harder to isolate. More than 2 decades later, the murder of Notorious B.I.G. officially remains unsolved. No one has been convicted. No final explanation confirmed. And that reality continues haunting people. Because unlike many celebrity deaths, this case feels unfinished. A global superstar murdered publicly, surrounded by witnesses, in one of America's biggest cities, and still, no clear resolution. Over the years, new evidence claims emerge repeatedly. Witnesses reconsider statements. Retired investigators speak publicly. Civil lawsuits accuse officials of corruption and cover-ups. But despite all of it, the central question survives. Who really killed Biggie Smalls? And maybe the most disturbing possibility is this. Some people may have known the truth from the beginning, but silence protected it. The death of Notorious B.I.G. wasn't just the loss of a rapper. It marked the end of an era shaped by rivalry, violence, fame, and pressure that eventually became deadly. Because somewhere between music industry power, street politics, retaliation, and fear, Christopher Wallace lost his life. And maybe the most chilling part of all is how quickly it happened. One red light, a few seconds, and hip-hop history changed forever. What do you think really happened that night? Was Biggie's murder retaliation? A planned hit? Or is the full truth still hidden behind decades of silence? Let me know in the comments. And subscribe for more true crime investigations, cold cases, celebrity mysteries, and documentary-style stories. Because some murders don't disappear with time. Sometimes, they become legends.